The Devil in Room 419. Detective Callahan never forgot Room 419. It wasn't just the blood, or the silence, but the chilling realization that evil can hide in plain sight. This is the story of a case that haunted him, a case that exposed the darkness lurking beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary hotel room. The call came late, just after midnight. Elliot Grayson, the manager of the Grand Dominion Hotel, his voice tight with panic. "Detective, we have a situation. A murder. Room 419. Callahan felt a familiar knot tighten in his stomach. He'd seen enough death to last a lifetime, but something about Grayson's voice suggested this was different. He grabbed his coat and headed to the Grand Dominion, a sense of foreboding settling over him like a shroud. The Grand Dominion was opulent, almost gaudy. Chandeliers dripped with crystals, and the air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume. But tonight, the glamour couldn't mask the underlying tension. Something was wrong. Room 419 was pristine, almost sterile, except for the bed. The crisp white sheets were soaked crimson, a stark contrast to the otherwise immaculate room. The air hung heavy with the metallic tang of blood. The victim was Richard Langley, 38 years old, a traveling salesman according to his ID. He lay sprawled on the bed, his throat slashed. The time of death was estimated at 3:12 a.m. Callahan surveyed the scene. The windows were locked, the door secured. The keycard logs showed only Langley had entered the room. There were no signs of forced entry, no witnesses. It was as if a ghost had committed the murder. Miriam, the housekeeper, was pale and shaken. She'd heard a scream around 3 a.m., she said, but dismissed it as a nightmare. Now she couldn't shake the image of the blood-soaked room. Langley's profession was unsettling. He was a pharmaceutical salesman, specializing in high-end painkillers, the kind that fueled addiction, the kind that destroyed lives. Was this a coincidence? Callahan doubted it. Then came the chilling discovery. This wasn't the first time. 4 other similar murders had occurred in Room 419 across different cities. Same modus operandi. No forced entry, no suspects, no answers. A pattern was emerging, a terrifying pattern. Langley's phone records were a mess of business calls and expense reports. But buried deep within the data, Callahan found it. A disposable burner phone. Untraceable almost. The burner phone had called Langley 3 times on the night of the murder, each call lasting only a few seconds. A taunt? A warning? Callahan needed to know. He traced the burner phone to a gas station payphone 10 blocks away. The surveillance footage was grainy, but it showed a figure in a dark hoodie making the calls. A woman. The woman in the hoodie was identified as Rachel Myers, 29. A former pharmaceutical rep, recently fired. Her connection to Langley was undeniable. Rachel's motive was heartbreaking. Her brother had died from an overdose, hooked on the pills Langley sold. "They killed him," she sobbed during the interrogation. "My brother. He trusted them, and they killed him." But something didn't add up. Rachel was distraught, grief-stricken, but she lacked the cold, calculated precision of the killer. Callahan knew she was involved, but she wasn't the one who wielded the knife. Rachel offered a cryptic clue, a single word whispered through her tears: justice. It was a starting point, a thread to pull on. But where did it lead? Callahan checked into Room 419, determined to understand the room's secrets. He spent hours poring over the crime scene photos, searching for anything he might have missed. Then, around 3:12 a.m., he heard it. A faint creak. The closet door, slowly swinging open. He froze, his hand instinctively reaching for his weapon. Callahan examined the closet. Nothing seemed out of place, but then he looked up. Above the closet, a vent, small, almost hidden, big enough for a person to crawl through. He requested the hotel blueprints. The vents connected to an old maintenance shaft, a network of hidden passages running throughout the building. The killer had been living in the walls, using the vents to move undetected. The police swarmed the maintenance shaft. They found him hiding in the shadows. Daniel Cross, ex-military, haunted eyes, a chillingly calm demeanor. He confessed immediately. Daniel Cross's motive mirrored Rachel's. His brother had also died from the opioid crisis, another victim of the pharmaceutical industry's greed. He and Rachel had worked together. Rachel picked the targets, the salesman who profited from addiction. Daniel, the ghost of 419, delivered the justice they deserved, or so they believed. Daniel Cross was apprehended, but a sense of unease lingered. The real monsters, the executives in their tailored suits, remained untouched, shielded by corporate power. The case of Room 419 was closed, but the questions remained. What is justice? And who decides who deserves it? The true villains often escape, leaving behind a trail of broken lives and unanswered prayers. The opioid epidemic continues to ravage communities, fueled by greed and indifference. The case of Room 419 serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of this crisis and the moral ambiguity of revenge. The case of Room 419 was a dark chapter, a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. It was a case that stayed with Detective Callahan, a case that forced him to confront the uncomfortable truth that sometimes the line between justice and vengeance is blurred beyond recognition. If you found this story chilling and thought-provoking, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more true crime mysteries. Share your thoughts on the case in the comments below. What do you think about Rachel and Daniel's actions? Do you believe they were justified? Also, check out our other videos on similar cases of unsolved mysteries and true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these important stories to light. Cold case: Lucy Parker's disappearance. The truth has a way of hiding, doesn't it? Buried beneath layers of lies, secrets, and the slow, relentless march of time. But sometimes, just sometimes, it claws its way back to the surface, demanding to be seen. October 17th, 1998. Fairview, Indiana. A date etched in the memory of a small town, a date that marked the disappearance of Lucy Parker. A young woman, just on the cusp of adulthood, vanished without a trace. The initial assessment was simple: a runaway, a small-town girl tired of her life seeking something more. But those who knew Lucy knew better. The scene offered few clues. An abandoned bicycle lying in a ditch alongside Route 12, a silent testament to a life interrupted. The police, eager to close the case, clung to the runaway theory, but Lucy's family refused to accept it. They knew deep in their hearts that someone knew the truth. 25 years passed. The case grew cold, the trail went stale, until Ethan Parker, Lucy's brother, reached out. He needed answers. He needed closure. He hired me, a retired cop, haunted by cases left unsolved. He pleaded with me to find the truth no matter how painful. Our starting point: the Silver Spoon Diner, where Lucy worked as a waitress. A greasy spoon, filled with the aroma of coffee and the murmur of small-town gossip. Grace Holloway, a fellow waitress, was the last person to see Lucy alive. She testified that Lucy left at 9:30 p.m., her shift over. Lucy's route home was simple: 3 miles straight down Route 12, a short, familiar stretch of road. It was on this short stretch of road that Lucy disappeared, swallowed by the darkness, leaving behind only questions. Her bicycle was found a mile from the diner, near a shallow ditch, a single headlight, broken and useless. There was no blood, no signs of a struggle, just an empty road and a lingering sense of dread. The initial investigation turned up a few names, suspects who never quite stuck, shadows lurking on the periphery of the case. Billy Raines, a local mechanic with a minor criminal record. He was seen on Route 12 that night, but his alibi checked out. Greg Sullivan, Lucy's ex-boyfriend. A messy breakup fueled by teenage angst. He claimed to be at a football game and witnesses corroborated his story. Hank Dobbs, a drifter who passed through Fairview every few months. He vanished shortly after Lucy's disappearance, raising suspicion. His vehicle was searched, but nothing was found. Years later, I revisited Billy Raines. He was older, weathered, but still working at the same garage. The smell of oil and gasoline hung heavy in the air. He was hesitant at first, but eventually, he offered a new piece of information. He admitted to seeing Lucy that night, but he insisted he wasn't the last. Raines claimed that Sheriff Tom Grady, the lead investigator on the case, was the last person to see her alive, a bombshell that shattered the foundation of the investigation. Sheriff Tom Grady, the man who led the initial investigation, the man who declared Lucy a runaway. He died in 2011 taking his secrets with him, or so we thought. The focus shifted to Sheriff Grady's son, Caleb Grady, a troubled young man with a reputation for harassing women, a chip off the old block but with a darker edge. Caleb was living in a small town outside Indianapolis, working at a dive bar, a place where secrets were traded like cheap whiskey. I found him there, nursing a beer, his eyes filled with a mixture of defiance and fear. I showed him a photo of Lucy Parker. His reaction was subtle, almost imperceptible, but I saw it, a flicker of recognition, a hint of guilt. "She's dead," he mumbled, almost to himself. In that moment I knew Caleb was involved. He knew more than he was letting on. The interrogation was a slow, agonizing process, hours of pressure, probing, and relentless questioning. Finally, the dam broke. Caleb cracked, his carefully constructed facade crumbling under the weight of his guilt. He claimed it was an accident. He didn't mean to hurt her. He just wanted to talk. He followed Lucy on her way home, his intentions unclear even to himself. He tried to pull her into his truck, a desperate attempt to get her attention. A struggle ensued. In the heat of the moment, Lucy died. A tragic accident fueled by recklessness and a twisted sense of entitlement. Sheriff Grady, his father, arrived on the scene. He saw the body. He saw his son's despair. He made a choice. He covered up the crime. He buried Lucy's body on the old Callaway farm, 5 miles from town. A desolate, forgotten place where secrets could be buried deep. Authorities, acting on Caleb's confession, searched the Callaway farm. They found her. Lucy Parker's remains, finally brought to light after 25 years. For Ethan Parker, it was closure. He finally got his sister back in a way. The truth, however painful, had finally been revealed. Caleb Grady was charged with murder. He faced justice for his actions, for the life he stole. I took the check, the money Ethan had promised. It felt dirty, tainted by the darkness of the case. I left town, seeking solace in the anonymity of the road. Cases like this stay with you. They burrow under your skin, they haunt your dreams. They remind you of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of everyday life. The truth is out there, waiting to be found. Sometimes it just needs someone willing to dig deep enough to uncover it. If you were captivated by this story and want to delve deeper into the world of true crime, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Share this video with your friends and family who are fascinated by mysteries, and let's unravel these stories together. If you have any cold cases you'd like us to investigate, leave a comment below. Your tip could be the key to unlocking a long-lost truth. The Black River Disappearance, a private investigator's account. Dive into the chilling tale of a missing woman, a secluded town, and the dark secrets buried beneath the surface. Prepare to be gripped by a mystery that will leave you questioning everything. I arrived in Black River under a sky heavy with unspoken dread. The town felt isolated, cut off from the world, and steeped in an unsettling silence. It was a place where secrets thrived and shadows danced. My mission was to find Emily Carter, a 22-year-old woman who vanished 3 weeks prior. She was last seen at the Fox Den Bar, a local haunt with a reputation as murky as the river that gave the town its name. The local police had dismissed Emily's disappearance as a runaway situation, a young woman seeking a fresh start. But her father, driven by a primal instinct, refused to believe it and hired me to uncover the truth. The Fox Den Bar was a dimly lit dive, the kind of place where stories were whispered and truths were often obscured. It was Emily's last known location, a crucial starting point in my investigation. The bartender, a man with eyes that had seen too much, recalled Emily leaving with an older man in a black pickup truck. This vague detail, a black pickup truck, became my first thread in a tangled web. Interviewing the locals was like pulling teeth. Fear and indifference were the common responses, a wall erected to protect the town's secrets. But I pressed on, determined to break through the silence. Danny Harper, Emily's ex-boyfriend, revealed that she had confided in him about feeling like she was being followed. This revelation shifted the case's direction, suggesting the possibility of abduction. Emily's car was found abandoned at Deer Hollow, a remote logging trail on the outskirts of town. The location was isolated, a place where secrets could be easily buried. The car was locked, the keys were in the ignition, and her purse was inside. This detail was unsettling, suggesting a deliberate act rather than a spontaneous decision. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, nothing to indicate a violent confrontation. My gut feeling told me this was a personal crime, a carefully orchestrated act of malice. I delved into the town records, searching for potential suspects, anyone with a history of violence or a connection to Emily. The name James Jimmy Caldwell surfaced, a trucker with a checkered past. Caldwell had a history of harassment and a reputation for being a loner. More importantly, he owned a black pickup truck, matching the bartender's description. I paid Caldwell a visit at his trailer, a run-down property that mirrored his character. The air around the place was thick with neglect and a sense of foreboding. When shown Emily's photo, Caldwell denied knowing her, his eyes darting nervously. His evasiveness only fueled my suspicion, solidifying him as a prime suspect. Driven by intuition and the mounting evidence, I made the risky decision to search Caldwell's shed without a warrant. It was a gamble, but I felt I was running out of time. Inside the shed, hidden beneath a pile of old tires, I found it. Emily's bracelet, a delicate silver chain she always wore. It was stained with a dark substance that sent a chill down my spine. I immediately contacted the state police, reporting the discovery and requesting a thorough investigation of Caldwell's property. The evidence was mounting, but Emily was still missing. Blood traces were found in Caldwell's truck, confirming that Emily had been inside. The DNA analysis matched Emily's, sealing Caldwell's fate and solidifying my suspicions. Caldwell was arrested based on the overwhelming evidence, but he remained tight-lipped, refusing to confess or reveal Emily's whereabouts. The case was far from over. Despite the arrest, Emily's body was never recovered. The case remained incomplete, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of Black River. I left Black River, but the case stayed with me, a shadow clinging to my heels. The unresolved nature of Emily's disappearance haunted my thoughts. Unresolved cases leave an enduring impact on investigators, a constant reminder of the limitations of justice. The psychological toll of confronting evil is a heavy burden to bear. I often found myself dreaming of Emily, imagining her last moments, the fear in her eyes. The weight of the unknown pressed down on me, a constant reminder of the darkness I had encountered. Some cases never truly end. They linger in the mind, unresolved puzzles that haunt the dreams of those who seek the truth. The Black River disappearance was one of those cases, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can consume a soul. Do you want to delve deeper into the world of true crime and unsolved mysteries? Subscribe to our channel for more gripping stories and in-depth investigations. Share this video with your friends and let us know in the comments what other cases you'd like us to explore. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. The Butcher of Paris, The Chilling Crimes of Marcel Petiot. The Butcher of Paris, a true crime story. Paris, 1944, the city of fear. During the Nazi occupation of Paris, the city was gripped by hunger, fear, and desperation. Many sought illegal ways to escape, turning to underground networks for help. Among those offering a way out was a seemingly kind and well-respected doctor, Marcel Petiot. But those who entered his home at 21 Rue Le Sueur never returned. Dr. Petiot promised desperate refugees, particularly Jewish families fleeing the Gestapo, safe passage to South America. He told them to bring their valuables, as they would need funds to start a new life. But once inside his home, they were never seen again. For months, authorities assumed the missing people had escaped the country. However, in March 1944, a foul stench led police to Petiot's townhouse. Inside, they discovered a house of horrors, charred body parts in a basement furnace, dismembered limbs in quicklime pits, and blood-soaked tools. Petiot had disappeared. Police launched a citywide manhunt, but Paris was chaotic, with the Nazis still in control. He managed to blend in, even joining the French resistance under a fake identity. It wasn't until after the liberation of Paris in October 1944 that he was recognized by a former colleague and arrested. During his trial, Petiot showed no remorse, claiming he was only killing Nazi collaborators and criminals. However, forensic evidence and witness testimonies revealed that he had murdered at least 27 people, though the actual number is believed to be much higher. He was sentenced to death by guillotine in 1946. When asked for his final words, he simply smirked and said, "Gentlemen, I am proud to die for my country." This chilling true story of Dr. Marcel Petiot remains one of France's most shocking crimes. Would you like another crime story or more details on this case?